Join the Classic Game Room community to get your questions answered on Thursday CGR Q&A. The following review has been approved by Lord Carnage and the best of Classic Game Room. Welcome to the Thursday Classic Game Room Q&A. Cheers to everyone watching. This is a delicious glass of space water. Which is better than regular water because it's from space. And I'd like to start off by saying thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone who ordered the Best of Classic Game Room DVD or Blu-ray, and the Kickstarter backers. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you haven't gotten your copy yet, it's on the way. They're all out the door. 99% of them are out the door, unless we don't know where you are. So please make sure we know where you are. There were a couple address bounce backs. Now let's hit the Classic Game Room forums, the Wind Squid Pub at ClassicGameRoom.com. for some Q&A questions, starting with Happy Wong. Do you enjoy your PlayStation Portable or even PS Vita? Yes, I do enjoy the PlayStation Portable. It's a great handheld, and I've got a ton of games around here to review on the PSP. I have not picked up a PS Vita yet. It looks very nice. I've played one, but actually the PSP is just fine for me. Let's move on to Hawk24, who asks, SRS Sam, which I'm assuming is Serious Sam. Mark, are you a fan of the Serious Sam games? You know, to be honest, I'm actually not that familiar with them. I think I have one or two of them around here. But, like anything, it's time to put into it, and I haven't had the time to put into it. Moving on to the next question from AEM Illustruber. Mark, how much would it take to consider early 2000s games as classics? Well, you are the one who determines what is classic and what is not. Personally, I wouldn't consider them classics, but you might, so... Second, which of those would you like to review? My personal favorite would be Need for Speed Underground and Half-Life. Well, I just reviewed Half-Life. It's on the Blu-ray/DVD, and that game is, well, obviously incredible. Need for Speed Underground. The Need for Speed games have always been pretty good for the most part. What's my favorite game genre? Well, probably arcade games when you get down to it. Although I also enjoy strategy a lot. So, all right. Well, thank you from Argentina. Let's move on to the next question in the forums. All right. Smash Brothers Maestro says, I'm sorry, Mark. Uh-oh, who knows what this could be? Hey, Mark, I want to know... oh, this isn't anything to be sorry about. Hey, Mark, I want to know what actors you think made the best and worst portrayals of James Bond. Well, you know, they're each different. And... I love the Sean Connery movies. They were the first ones. But some of the... I love the 70s Bond films with Roger Moore. They got, goofier. And I thought he played that really well. I also am a huge fan of Timothy Dalton in the two James Bond films that he did. I think Pierce Brosnan himself would have been pretty good as James Bond, except the scripts for most of his films were terrible. And Daniel Craig actually is suffering from the same thing. I think Daniel Craig himself on screen looks like a pretty cool James Bond, except... write better movies for him. It's the writing. The Roger Moore and Sean Connery films, and especially the Timothy Dalton films, those were all really well written and I think performed by the actors. So I wouldn't say that and even George Lazenby's one James Bond film on Her Majesty's Secret Service, that's actually one of my favorite films, although he was probably the worst Bond, and just from the casting standpoint, I think he just only did one film, and how much did he have? He didn't have much of a chance to really get into it. Just imagine On Her Majesty's Secret Service with Daniel Craig in the mix. That would have been incredible. All right, let's move on. Truxton2 asks Zoma. I'm going to read the question, but my answer is yes. Hey Mark, any luck finding a Truxton2 board? No, they're really expensive, and the couple I've seen are from sellers with really low ratings, so... What would happen if someone made Truxton for the Vectrex? Well, imagine the entire universe exploding and then coming back together again, a happier place. That's what would happen. That was asked by Maxi. Good question. Try to make that happen because I want to see it. Let's play Space Gar from Teddy Kong Country. Teddy Kong. My favorite one is Space Gar Dungeon. And I love this Space Gar character. He's in Ethel the Cyborg Ninja, the new comic book I'm drawing. He's in Lord Carnage. And Space Gar is fun to write because he's similar to Edit Station 1 in that they're both really obnoxious, but Edit Station 1 is smarter, whereas Space Gar just wants to blow things up and constantly level up and learn breakdancing. So he's like wackier, and that's a lot of fun to write. And also, there's a great bar scene in Ethel the Cyborg Ninja where it's Wind Squid, Jesus the cooked up chicken, and Space Scar at a bar. And I just think there's something funny about having Space Scar, a spaceship, sitting at a bar drinking margaritas. Whatever happened to FromUSALive.com? Well, that was the old website which started Classic Game Room back in 1999. It was sucked into a vacuum in space, otherwise known as being shut down. 2 questions for Mark. Oh, that was from Inverted Leg Drop. Is that a wrestling move or something? I don't know anything about wrestling. Another question for Mark. Mark, when are you going to give the Xbox One a proper console review? Didn't I give it one? I don't remember. I mean, the Xbox One, like the PlayStation 4, they're exactly the same. They're just like turnkey gaming PCs with built-in PlayStation Network on one hand and Xbox whatever on the other. They're exactly the same. Sadly, modern game systems, as good as they may be, are exactly the same, so it's hard to sit there and pick a favorite one. If you like Xbox, like the network and the social service is better than PlayStation, then buy an Xbox, and vice versa. Since you're a massive Atari fan, do you have plans to get and review an Atari ST computer system? I have an Atari XE computer system at the moment, and I'm perfectly happy with that, so I do not have plans to get any more. All right, let's see here. Why not do occasional Skype interviews with Dave Cross? And well, I did do a Skype interview with Dave on in the film. Always very nice to talk to Dave, and we have been actually communicating back and forth. We use smoke signals since we're old, and hopefully can do something together in person in the near future. So that's out there. It's possible, and don't worry, we're both on good terms. Dave, I hate you. Ben Drowned 33 asks, what would happen if Jar Jar appeared in the new Star Wars movie? Well, I think there would be like global riots for one thing. Nobody likes Jar Jar. Nobody. And if you like Jar Jar, you're wrong. I would be very upset. And I would probably hear about it before the movie came out, and they would not get my money. There, how's that? If Jar Jar's in the new Star Wars movie, I'm not paying money to see it. Digital Platforms asks Mega Video Gamer 1000. What's your opinion on services like Steam, Origin, or Uplay? I think Steam is terrific. In fact, at this point, I think if you're looking at investing in an expensive game system, you may want to reconsider and just get a computer and Steam, because the games are cheaper and there's more of them, and I don't know. I'm actually a big fan of Steam. I don't use it as much as I'd like to because I got 1,000 game systems around here, but I think Steam is terrific. I don't really know the other ones as well, but Steam is excellent, really. And then I got another question here from Despar1. This is a big question. You guys get hammered with the copyright infringement stuff. Well, I'll tell you, things are certainly different now on a certain website than they were a few years ago, and unfortunately, life as you know it regarding freedom of press and journalism on a particular site is over. Right now is the end. It's done. It's over. So what's the future hold? Well, things are certainly changing out there, and Classic Game Room, like everybody else, has to adapt. And like I've said before, my future actually involves, the future of Classic Game Room involves a lot of great physical content with higher production values and bigger budgets, since the future of a certain website. Because you gotta remember, even though journalism's totally legit, reviewing a game is legit, reviewing game footage in a game is legit, there's still someone between you and your audience. If there's someone or something between you and your audience, you have to abide by their rules. And that's where the whole problem lies, because in the end, those rules are influenced by other factors out there. So, big question, but the short answer is it impacts everyone, what's happening out there regarding copyright. Unfortunately, a lot of people have stolen copyright and use copyright for illegal purposes, or just flagrantly ignore copyright laws, which impacts the people who actually follow the rules and review things with respect to copyright. This is the end of video journalism as you know it in this format. Right now, it's happening as you see this video. And that's not up to me, but if you're looking to make a career on this website reviewing games, think again, because it's ending. That's the truth. Mark, why did it take so long to review? Asks Nintendo Genesis 2600. Well, let's see here. I I am reviewing the Atari 2600 Junior, but this actually brings me right back to the question I answered previously. It's going to be on an upcoming Classic Game Room Blu-ray. I spent years producing films, feature-length films and documentaries, and I'm actually getting back into that. And reviews, which actually allows me to spend more time on a particular review. I'm reviewing the Atari 2600 Junior for the proposed upcoming film Classic Game Room's Atari 2600 Greatest Hits, and since it's going on a Blu-ray, since it's going on a physical copy, or at least I'm planning to, I can spend a lot more time and more money making it. And that's actually very exciting. So it's going to increase the quality of my reviews moving forwards. That's not to say I'm stopping what I'm doing here, but a lot of the big time content, a lot of the stuff that takes a lot of time to make, where I can actually use a lot of cinematography and some filmmaking techniques, is moving to physical discs where you can really enjoy the performance and not have somebody come along and go like this and just take it from you because they feel like it. Very frustrating. Mailman and more questions, asks Tom55213. Tom, what if there's a sequel, like Tom55214? Just throwing it out there. Anyway, Mark, how does the mailman get into space without teleportation? Do aliens visit the Intergalactic Space Arcade? If so, when? We only allow alien visitors if they're hot and green. And how does the mailman get to space? We have a covered space bridge. It's made from wood that actually goes all the way down to Pennsylvania. And they put it in one end, and this like Amish cart and buggy drive it all the way up into space. And it transforms into a robot, flies away, and blows up planets. That's true. I love Pennsylvania because it's the only state I know of where you can drive somewhere and there's a big sign that has like a horse on it on a major turnpike with a no sign through it. You cannot ride your horse on a major turnpike, like 76. They won't let you. Can you believe that? Incredible. All right, AM562 writes, Mark, will you drive over a Tiger Gamecom and make a video about it? Here's the thing. I won't destroy game systems or games on camera because I would rather give it to somebody else who would enjoy it than destroy it. Hey Mark, we're looking into building arcade machines. Do I have any specific places I search for things like arcade games, replacement parts, or old cabinets? The two places I would look are Craigslist and eBay. Let's see, how many times have clones been shot into the sun? Several. Will there be Xbox One reviews? Yes. In fact, I have a couple new games waiting to get reviewed on Xbox One. I don't hate the Xbox One. I know I tend to review PS4 more, but that's because I typically get more games on PS4. I prefer Sega Genesis, if that helps. Favorite Star Wars games? Well, there's a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. The best is obviously The Empire Strikes Back on Atari 2600. Let's see here. Squid Invasion asks, when it comes to drawing, do you prefer digital drawing or traditional drawing? I prefer digital drawing from the actual drawing standpoint. Pencil is my preferred medium, and then inking it. But when I'm actually making something to sell and I'm on a schedule, like Ethel the Cyborg Ninja, for example, I'm drawing it straight digital. It's a bigger learning curve. I'm still learning every day how to draw straight digital. But in the end, the cleanup work and what I would call the post-processing is going to be a lot easier, so it'll get the book out faster, more efficiently, and cheaper. So I think digital's got a lot of advantages, but there's still nothing quite like drawing on a real piece of paper. There's no right or wrong way, you just got to work with your workflow, and right now there's so many amazing digital tools that I'm learning how to use them and make my comics straight digital. Hopefully in the end the quality will actually surpass what I'm able to do with pencil and ink, because if I need to just erase like a character and draw another one, I can do that. It's very easy. I can do that with pencil and ink too, it just takes more time. So that's from Squid Invasion. Good question. Thoughts on NVIDIA Shield? I don't know anything about it, I'm afraid. Let's see. Which Atari 2600 version of the console do I own? Asks Balder. I have pretty much all the Ataris, but I actually like the Atari 2600 Junior, which is why I'm making a really big, fun review out of it for the upcoming Classic Game Room's Atari 2600 Greatest Hits, which will have lots and lots of Atari reviews on it and a bunch of new stuff as well. What's my thoughts on the new Star Wars Battlefront trailer? I haven't seen the trailer. I heard about the new Battlefront, and I love Battlefront, so I'm actually quite excited about that. All right, we still have some more questions here. I'll back up a few more pages. What's my favorite beer? You know, I love beer. I'm a big beer snob, and there's a lot of different kinds of beer I like. Typically, whatever's in front of me is my favorite beer, which At the moment, nothing. But, I love everything from like a Newcastle Brown Ale and British beers. I love British beers. To some good lagers like German and Czech lagers. I love big, hard-hitting American IPAs like a Southern Tier or a Bear Republic. It just depends on what mood I'm in. I mean, sometimes I'll just crack a Yangling, like this one, which has been empty for days. I just leave it here for effect. Smash it on my head, throw it over there. Apparently, I'm the one who's going to clean that up later. Favorite Nintendo console? The NES. Alright, I'm running out of time, so I've only got a few more here. CGR backlog stretches out into 2084, abruptly stops, and then picks back up in 2200. What editing software do I use? Adobe Premiere. How did Edit Station 1's break key break? He was drunk running from the police. Do I watch other YouTubers? I don't watch all that much on YouTube. I usually watch 80s TV shows like Magnum PI, except Proton John has excellent taste in TV shows like Airwolf and Captain Power Forever, and Alpha Omega Sin is from Pittsburgh, so much respect there, and he also has great taste in t-shirts. And what is the future like in the CGR universe? The future is funky. You can expect many more game reviews here, mostly of older games and really retro classics for some of the reasons I said earlier. Also, you can see more Classic Game Room films in the works. I'll give you many more updates about that, stuff like the Blu-ray, working on that, and here's a bunch of game reviews I'm actually putting together right now. And more comic books, like Lord Carnage Book 2 is in my head, hopefully more Jesus the Coked Up Chicken comics, and Ethel the Cyborg Ninja, which I'm drawing and writing right now. So thank you for watching. See you next Thursday for more Q&A. Go join the Classic Game Room website, the Classic Game Room forums at classicgameroom.com. Hit the microphone once or twice, and throw a beer can if you got one. I actually just missed the camera. I didn't mean to do that. The Best of Classic Game Room is now on DVD, Blu-ray, and Hyper Laser Vision album set.